Hello, traders. It's Melissa with Price Plan Profit, and I'm excited to get started with this video. I am going to do a trade review with you, reviewing both a winning trade and a losing trade from this week, and most importantly, what I learned from each trade. I will be doing these trade reviews every week with you because I believe that this information will help you grow to become a more disciplined, consistent, and profitable trader. So let's get started breaking down both a winning trade in Palantir and a losing trade in TSLL. Wins and losses equal growth in our trading journey. Let's break down the winning trade first. This was a textbook setup. I waited for price to pull back to my entry, in this case, the pre-market zone. I waited for price to pull back here. Then as price began to move in the direction I was anticipating, I trimmed and took some profits here at $435 a contract, which was profits of about $65 per contract. And then I went and exited this trade at $810 per contract for a nice $440 of profit per contract. So, what was great about this trade? Number one, the risk on the trade was 40 cents, and my potential reward was $5 to $10, which was an incredible risk to reward. Palantir was showing momentum pre-market and outperforming the overall market, which is why this name made my watch list for that day and day trades. And I didn't allow my emotions to control the trade. I executed my pre-defined plan, and for me, that is always a win. Now let's talk about the losing trade, because I am a big believer in there's often more to be learned from those losing trades than what there is from the winning trades. Now, looking back on this trade, I was emotionally biased that price should continue to the downside because pre-market TSLL was showing weakness and was pulling back. Now, I entered the trade according to my entry rules, but by having that emotional bias that price would continue to the downside, it kept me in the trade longer than what I should have been. I also didn't recognize that there was a lack of direction in this name. Price was just very choppy for the first hour of the market, and I have found that these are typically not trades that I have a nice profit on. So that was another mistake that I made because of my emotional bias of looking for continued downside price action. I didn't recognize that price was just chopping and I didn't have a clear direction. And then the third mistake that I made was that once price got above the pre-market zone here and pulled back, and this pre-market zone held as support, that is when I should have reversed the trade and switched to buying calls to play for an uptrend. So, three mistakes, right, that I learned from. Now, what do I do with this information after each and every trade? I journal. what I learned from each trade, not just the trades that go well, but also the trades that don't go well. These are my journal entries. What I got right, that trade that was a winner. I wrote, I entered the trade on a pullback to the PMZ with bullish momentum and a bull trend overall, took profits at resistance, and exited the trade as momentum was fading inside my target zone. Good risk to reward and executed with discipline. Now, my journal for what I got wrong on the TSLL trade. I entered the trade according to my entry rules, but while in the trade, I allowed emotional bias to keep me in the trade for too long. I should have waited to enter the trade after the overall direction was more clear, since the first hour was nothing but chop. I should have reversed the trade when the PMZ held as support. I believe journaling all my trades helps me correct my mistakes, and it holds me accountable for each and every trade that I take. Learning from losing trades is just as valuable as winning trades. So I encourage you, if you're not currently journaling your trades, please start doing that and see if it doesn't help you become a more disciplined and consistent trader. So if this video has helped you, please like it, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also, I would love for you to answer this question for me in the comments. What's the last lesson that you learned from a trade, good or bad? I read and reply to every comment, and I look forward to hearing what lessons that you've learned in the comments below. Have an amazing day.